So camera, that's right. Which are a little dim, even though the light feels fairly bright. Can I crank the light just a little bit? Make it 20, maybe? Alright. Let's check. Okay, restream, thanks for streaming. Twitch is usually pretty quick. Oh, not today. And there it is. Alright, we're live on Twitch. We have audio. Let's check. Yep, sounds like we do. And do we have it on YouTube? Yay, alright. Welcome to Code Hangout number 227, where we're hopefully gonna tie a little bow tie on the whole Markdown formatted rules thing. And maybe I want to do a couple things. So just rerunning the test we did last time. So we're gonna make a quick final step. So we're gonna call it whatever. Yeah, there was a GitHub page with like all the different Markdown flavors, because I'm guessing it makes sense to call this a Markdown flavor rather than Markdown, because then people will have certain expectations, right? So we can call it just Sudoku pad Markdown specifications, right? And then here we're gonna actually do a to-do list. 1, create sample puzzle. 2, document current formatting support. 3, document edge cases and specific handling. 4, document metadata flag. All right. Hey Keith, how you doing? Yeah, I'm well-ish. I did sleep enough last night, and I have a bit of a headache now, and I should have taken some Panadol. There was a wedding of my girlfriend's best friend yesterday, where she was maid of honor, so we stayed pretty late counting bottles and doing the usual admin stuff. And then today, you know, we had Toby, our dog, with his grandma. We had to pick him up today, and so the day was a little bit short. And then I fell asleep on the couch, and now I'm all a bit bedazzled, and I'm really late on the stream. So let's see how it goes. I had last time, I think we had stuffed it in here so we could start testing it. But I don't have the test pages up anywhere, do I? Ah, no, this I suppose is a test page. Are these all test pages? Ah, I think just this one. Oh yeah, because I was using that for testing. All right, so let's drag that in here for a sec, because I was using my importer output here for testing. So let's grab a copy of this as well, just so we have something to mess with, right? And then here we currently have this, and this is generated by this guy. And if we look at that, it'll be here. And we basically just pasted the code in here to see how it works. Okay, so what we want to do is extension context invalid. Yeah, my Chrome has been acting really weird and crashing tabs and all sorts of things, and I suspect it's related to my memory, but I have to look into that. Let's see that. How to avoid what is that? I mean, I don't think it's actually that extension's fault. Send message. I don't even know what extension this is coming from. Under. Right, if I do open new tab, and I search for that, I think that's how I can identify. It's from an ad blocker. It's weird. All right. So let's go back to our current parsing, right? So the current parsing handles basically these 4 cases, right? No, that's what we're testing for. It handles these 5 cases. All right, so specs. Let's see. So we have schlip, blip, text, schlip, and that's underline. Kind of like that, right? Then we have, all right, let's just copy that. So we have doubles for delete. And we'll have to look into kind of doing, actually specifying the HTML for that a little bit. And then we have 1 asterisk, 2, and 3. And that's the only things we do for now. Later on, we'll probably want to do hash, double hash, and all that. And that will be emphasis. This will be strong. The double asterisk, right? And then triple asterisk is strong, and then emphasis on the inside. And I'm wondering if I could get rid of this by handling it in the parser somehow. In other words, basically handling the first asterisk first, or the double asterisk first, doing a substitution, and then handling the second one. I'm wondering if that's possible, but I'm not sure. Markdown specs are nice and all, but when are we getting Simon down specs? Oh dear. All right. Also, let's not confuse people about capitalization here. Yeah, that's probably something I shouldn't be looking into, but I'm wondering if I could. All right, let's clean this up a little bit. So right now, I think these algorithms are completely separate, right? Because I was tweaking this. I don't think this is the same that was in test and then in the check. I think they're different, right? Yeah, they're quite different. So I think this is the latest version. So let's pull this one out, right? Let's call this whatever. SudokuPad Markdown seems long. spmd lib.js. Let's try that, right? And then if I say are we in import or in require land? We're in require land. So if I do this, and it shouldn't be psmd, it should be, god damn it, it should be sp for SudokuPad. So sp, or should we call it pad markdown, spmd, or sspmd, Sven SudokuPad markdown? Sure, let's do it that way. All right, Sven SudokuPad markdown lib.js, and then we're gonna do fun test, and I think if I do a watch on this, it'll just auto run. Okay, so, and then instead of calling test parse, we'll have this, and then we'll just rename this to we'll do the an export function parse sspmd. Now, it is technically parsing sspmd. Sven's SudokuPad sspmd. All right. Markdown specs are nice. Yeah. All right. So, if you have a better idea for the name, now is the time to say it. Or forever hold your peace and all that. Okay, so if we're pulling this one, and then I can say undefined. sspmd lib. Okay. It took it a moment, but there it is. And if I do this, oh, okay. This operates quite differently. And if we just output the test string, Okay. It's not doing what I thought it would do. Huh? What about the subs? That doesn't seem right. Did I grab the wrong thing here? So test rules, calls parse MD, and test rules is still there. So check. Let's limit it to a small number, like 10,000, for example. Check. Okay, so this looks like it's running. I'm a little bit confuddled here. We've got our exclusion list. We're doing this. Do we have a test string in here? No. Can we bring that one over? All right. Okay. That works. What's going on, guys? What's going on? So if I bring this in here, is that gonna work? Yeah, here it works. Why does it not work here? What the heck is going on here? All right, this is the failing string. Oh, maybe it is a failing string. Maybe it's just an outright failing string here. Or by failing string, I mean failing test case. Oh, it is a okay, wait a second. So the changes that we made to the parser actually breaks in our original test scenario, which is strange. All right, so we got to reconcile this. So we made so many changes to make it fit more of our test database. Could have only passed on my ISP, but I could when using a friend. Happened using Firefox and Edge. That's strange. I don't know who your ISP is or why they would block my stuff. Did you look at your browser's network tab to see what's going on? Very odd. Okay, so the original parser manages this fine. So let's break this down in a kind of test cases, right? So let's say const test strings, right? We'll make an array and we'll start with something simple. Simple text. Like that'll be the first one, right? And then we'll just say something like for const str of test strings, right? And then we'll just say console str. We'll do a stringify just so we get nice quotations. And then we'll do that. Yeah. And we'll do the same thing for the original test parse. If I do that, we'll get that, and then we can pause these here for a sec. Denoisify our display a bit. All right. This one's outputting a bunch of noise now. and just get rid of. All right. And if we align them, it'll look like this. Okay. And then we can say something like, let's reorder them like this. Like, and it's just rip emphasized text. And that'll be the single asterisks. Okay. And then we, normal before emphasized text. Okay. So this breaks, huh? All right. And then so emphasis text with, and then this is what underlined text. All right, so what breaks this thing? So we know this one breaks. And it's a bit long, so if I can get a smaller breaking version of this. All right, so let's just hide these. We know they work. Let's hide this one and let's do a shorter version. For example, just this first bit. Like, why would that break and this doesn't? Is it because of these? Okay, so I must have changed something in order to make it not fail on our database testing here, which I think makes it look at two following symbols as if... Ah, my brain. So let's just double check. So the algorithm should be the same. I think the only thing that's different between test parse here and our new parse SSMD is the regex, right? So I would say if I compare these 4 lines with these 4 lines, right? They're the same. These are the same. That's the same. So get subs should be the same. This looks like it's the same. And then this is the same. All right, so this part of the algorithm is the same. And then down here, oh, okay, that's what's making it weirdly noisy. Right, don't need that. That's the same, and that's all. So the algorithm is identical. So the only thing we've changed is these regular expressions. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to see is if I could get rid of this special case in the back. Now, we have this first thing that deals with isolated sets of these. And that's also identical, I believe. Like, I think this is the same as this. All right, that looks the same to me. This is, I'm guessing, this. No, it's not. All right, now here we did a whole bunch of stuff with line breaks and a couple of other symbols that were including and excluding, all that sort of thing. So we said, like, if I'm looking at this right now, this part here corresponds to this part here. And I'm guessing, I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually largely identical. And then we just added something up front. So if I move this in line with that, we want that colored. So these parts are similar, except we've excluded line breaks. And Okay, so what I'm gonna do is actually, I'm gonna clone this algorithm down here. I'm gonna take this, clone it, and we're gonna replace these two with that. Oh, why is there so many spaces? So that should be this now, and we call this 1 and this 2. And then we don't use parse, we use 1 and 2, and then leave the original alone. Right? And then we'll have 1 and 2, 1 and 2. 31. What did I do? 31. Oh, shoot. When did I break that? What? What's wrong? What do you... Is this a caching issue in Bun? Mal from parameter list. With a regular expression followed by a function that returns this, selecting out of that, according to this. Huh? If we come after the G, with the same identical syntax here, that's the same. Is there an error higher up? Malformed arrow function parameter list. What are you talking about? How is this suddenly a syntax error? I didn't touch that. No. Jesus Christ. Indicates a syntax error. Yeah, I understand that the error message indicates an error, but there's no error here. The frick? What are you talking about? So, if I remove this and replace it with an identity function, like that, it still gives me a... God damn it, it's talking about one of these down here. But why does it say... It does say. It does say. My bad. Alright. Well, now we gotta put that back in. Alright. And we'll call this 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Get rid of that. Okay. So now we can just focus on this file alone. And we can probably even just do that. It's gonna go, oops. We're gonna do this regs 1 and regs 2. And then here we're just gonna do regs, goes regs 1, regs equals regs 2. And just get rid of these. Get rid of these. Boom. And then we'll just do this. Parse of the dream will pass in regs. And it'll return make parse. right? And then we'll just return this function. Return, boom. Like that. And then we just say export first blah 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 equals that regs1, right? And now what's it complaining about? Declared here. RE has been declared. Oh. Sure. Leave that in here. If I do this. Okay. Okay. Now that's weird. Because that's different than test parse. Or is it only different because I've had that extra space in there? Looks like it. Okay. It is. All right, and that's kind of what I do now. We have to kind of build some test cases to really make sure it does what we want it to do, right? All right, so we got all three being the same. Which is strange because I thought it was going to be different. No, wait, why is this the same now? God, all right. I don't think I've deleted any of them yet, right? So I think I can copy them out of here. These are the ones we care about. I don't remember. I think this was supposed to handle with something that, oh, make sure we're doing the second one, right? Rex 2 is supposed to be the new stuff. The different behavior, which breaks on this case, but doesn't break on this way. Okay, so this now we can work with. Let's improve the formatting a little bit so my eyes don't have to do as much work. Don't need the string here. Do we want to keep the quotations? Yes, because it'll tell us where the spaces are. Do we want to get rid of this? Maybe. And then what we can do is just do a whatever. Something like that. Boom. Oh, no. Yeah. Maybe we can just do a blank line. Not what I wanted. Maybe I'll just do another blank line here. Yeah? Yeah. So, we still have the quotation marks there. Wait, what? But not here. I think test parse is just, yeah, it's just up, still spitting out the string that we don't want. Okay, so now I think we can skip test parse. So I think now I'm confident that our two cases here are the original, which is what's present in test parse, and the new one, right? And now we want to check, can I Yeah, so the problem is now we are, I'm not testing for all the stuff that this stuff here is taken care of, right? So we have to be careful with just changing this because we'll just bring back the problems we had earlier. But I do want to have a separate scenario. So let's create a third version quickly here. So we can do 3, right? 3. 3. Oh, I think we're missing this. Yeah. Okay, now the third version is where we're gonna get a little funky. And I'm wondering if I want to go back to this one. But the first thing I wanted to check is, we'll just get rid of this for now. Yeah, and we're just gonna test like single, double, and triple asterisks, right? So instead of these two, we'll do single, we'll do double, and we'll do triple. Like that. Okay. But now the question is, can we do it without this third case here? So I want to get rid of these, and I want to get rid of that. And I want to see if I can recreate the third case. Right. And we gotta kind of go a little bit back to the original here. So we basically want to say we want to pull out. Maybe what we want to do is we want to find the most asterisks that we can from the inside out, and then we don't limit it to what's on the outside of those symbols, right? And I'll probably have to get some intermediary result, I guess. So, oops. So let's have a look at that. So if we say, for now, let's ignore these, right? And we'll say 0 or 1. Okay. But here we're limiting what can be on the outside, right? We're saying we cannot precede it with that. But now I'm saying, wait a second, why do we care? Right? So if I get rid of that, and I get rid of that, so it actually naturally goes through those phases. If I get rid of the other two, so I don't... well, actually, I can leave them. No, I can't leave them, because we're using the same function now. So if we get rid of these two, and then we'll add a little bit of it letting us know what's happening along the way. So every time we're doing substitutions here, while const for constant, we'll do this, and the substitutions are substitutioning into str. What does that look like? Does it make sense to do that here? We'll start with triple and no subs. Then it's substituting the string with 1 asterisk. Shouldn't it be trying to find as many as possible? Is it question mark to make it greedy? strong is 2. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it finds this substring and says, okay, that's strong triple, and that's and now we have a single one, and now that becomes an emphasis of this. And then afterwards we get EM strong, and it looks like that. Does it make sense? Yeah, we have to do the long one first, otherwise 2 asterisks will just become EM, right? Now, this still works for the others. Right, double and single still work fine. So in theory, I feel that should work. Now, if we do also a test for underline in the other one, so we'll say underline with the double squiggles, single squiggles, and strike through with the double squiggles. I think I removed some stuff. We gotta bring those back in. We gotta make this a double. Wait, not asterisk. What we really is saying here is not... I'm trying to think. Does it mean we're saying not whatever this symbol is? No, neither symbol, right? Because we need to find the innermost nested element. All right, underline, strike through. Okay, and then now the question is underline and strike through. Does that work the same way, right? Underline, or let's also call these single, double, and triple. So triple would just be underline and strike through. Yeah, and we should have it work like that, because, you know, it would underline and strike through otherwise not work? No, it doesn't make sense, right? Underline and strike through. Yeah. The only thing is that the ordering is always the longest set goes through. So since the longest set is strike through, the strike through will be on the inside of the underline. But that's fine. So this actually should work. Now it might fail once we're trying to bring in our, you know, Rex 2 stuff here. But it means we get rid of the of this one case, which isn't a lot. But I do want to keep this simple and small. And by generalizing that out of there, like that should have never been in there in the first place, right? Now, the problem is, if I run this through our data test, is it gonna fail all over the place? Should I do that now? What is the main parts that these things bring in, right? What does this do? It says any set of symbols that's preceded by one of these guys, i.e. a letter, a number, or a brace, and then followed by a letter, number, or brace. So in other words, that has letters on both sides, we're actually pulling that out first. Right, so I think that should be okay. And in fact, we should probably merge these two, right? Because this one says that either has white space or the beginning or one of these, right? So we can say either white space or the beginning or one of these. And we probably should go in this order. Or one of these. Like that. And then over here we'll do something similar. And we'll say, you know, the end or white space or one of these. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. Ah, shoot. Yeah, it needs to be separate, right? Because we need... It has to either have this on, like this, either space on both sides or not space on both sides, right? Our parser basically expects it to not have space on one side, except it's not just space. It's like commas, full stop, certain things, right? It's probably not word characters. We probably want a word character. We either want to, yeah, I guess what we're really saying is we either say we have a, if we have a word character on both sides, or we have a non-word character on both sides. Either situation, we want to exclude them from our parsing. So by putting these early, and I can't merge these at the moment, but I could potentially simplify how this is written. Like our symbol here, like, I wonder if we could make this a custom character class or whatever. And I don't, do we care about the mixing of symbols here? I don't think we do. But basically what that lets us do... no, because it actually pulls out individual symbols out of the middle of a series of symbols. Okay. Now, I'm wondering if I can get rid of this altogether by just using whatever logic I was using here originally. And I was basically saying we can't, we should have either the start of the string, a line break, a space, or a full stop before a start sequence. Okay, that makes sense to me. Except that's what broke the immediate nesting. But that only is broken because we had this clause. Because we're working from the inside out, right? So we want to... Ideally, we should be able to ignore what's on the outside of the string, right? So if we're, let's say, looking at this double asterisk, ideally, we shouldn't care about the single asterisk on the outside. The problem is, then we're going back to failing on mathematical expressions. So for example, if I say 2 to the power of 8, it might see this as a start, right? Which I want to prevent. So I want to say, okay, this is a start of, you know, this being bold. And this isn't. And I'm hoping that I don't have to repeat this with different cases, because you want to pair them up, but we don't necessarily want to pair them up by the exact symbol, right? So we want to have pairs of things. For example, we want to pair up the start of the string with the end of the string, not the start of the string with the exact same thing at the end of the string, because we won't get a start of the string twice, right? And if we want to say, okay, a letter or a number, we don't care if afterwards is exactly the same letter of number. We just care that it's the same category, right? And I don't think you can capture that. And if we have to like copy this 3 times, then, you know, our parser gets bigger. But since this expression is actually quite small at the moment, it might not be so terrible. So I'm gonna keep a copy of this for now, and I'm gonna say, okay, let's try this version first, except we're also gonna include our marker symbols, right? And then we're gonna say we don't want white space on the inside, which we already have here. We don't want white space at the end. And then at the end, we have another list of things that we don't want it to that we do want it to follow, and that's either the end of the string or, you know, a couple of things. Let's reorder these like that, and I'm wondering if this list should be the same. And I'm trying to think, can I define a custom character class in JavaScript RE? Instead of RE, it should be regex. That's right. First, define custom character class user. This is the character you want to match directly within the square brackets. Yeah, that's what I want. No, you can't. All right, so we might have to actually build the regular expression up from a string just to make the parser smaller. But does this fail on these test cases? No. Does it fail on our original failing test case, which we can, I guess, just throw in the end here? All right. Actually, kind of hard to tell. So, I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be. So UT should be underlined. No, it should be struck through. So wait a second. Why did I put the single ones first? No, we gotta do the doubles first. Always. Ah, wait, no, it's not. No, it doesn't. This ordering doesn't matter. The thing is that this needs to be greedy. So outer. Why would this not capture the double? Okay. All right, let's look at that in more detail. So if I look at this, for example, why does it find the underline first? Huh? Why does it find the underline first? 0 or 1? But this should be greedy. This should be greedy. This should be greedy, and it's not actually... Oh, no, it is up. But why would it... Do you have to output the individual matches? Probably, hey. Let's see. So it matches this string. Because now it allows these on either side. But why wouldn't it match it earlier? Like, why would it match this instead of matching one character earlier? Is it... I think we're gonna have to do something here. We're gonna have to do this. While match. Well, when it matches null, it doesn't, it's just gonna give us null. It just means it didn't match. It won't tell us why it didn't match. So it doesn't tell us why it won't match one character earlier as it goes through the string. Oh, because of the O. Oh, I see. Hey guys. Okay, so what's happening is here, and sorry it's so small. Our new rules say this shouldn't match because we don't have that spacing ahead of the O. But we're saying that we can match within the symbol. Now the problem with that is, what I really want to do is I want to match the other one. No, actually, no, we don't. Yeah. So that's a bit tricky, isn't it? Basically what we want to do is we want to match 2, but not 3. But we don't want to match 1 when 2 could work. And I'm trying to think, is there an easy way of saying, hey, we don't want to match a number of these symbols and then not one of these. Maybe there is. Maybe there is. What if I say any of those? Any of those followed by a number of those, 0 more of those. So now the question is it failing because it's completely broken, or is it failing because it's supposed to fail, right? So double works, triple doesn't, but triple should. And we don't want to output. No, that doesn't do us any good. In fact, even outputting match here doesn't do us any good. So triple should work, but now it doesn't anymore. Why? Because as far as I can tell, oh, because yeah, so we probably have to do this. Triple, single, triple, and then we'll probably have to do it over here as well. And obviously we now have to do this, and it's gonna add a lot of characters to the regex, which I don't like. But we basically want to say non-matching group here, not including these, followed by or preceded by 0 or more of these. But then then followed by one of these. So we cannot have a bunch of these and then a letter. So triple becomes like it should. Triple dash becomes like it should. But this now doesn't get parsed at all. It doesn't get touched. And that's kind of what we wanted. Okay. So now if I go back to the full string, and it's a little noisy. I'm gonna hide this for now. So this is correct. This is correct. This is correct. So it shouldn't be parsing it in the middle of the word. Although now I'm thinking about it, that's potentially a use case you might want to have. You might want to bold a part of a word without spaces around it. Which is problematic. Which I don't see how we can support that without it breaking relative to something that shouldn't be bold, something that should, like in a mathematical expression that shouldn't be formatted. Now, we could make the argument that Ranks made to say, okay, that's what the escape characters are for, but I would prefer if it just did the thing you want it to do, right? And I guess there's a way around this by putting in some sort of non-visible space. Am I allowing arbitrary white space? I'd have to double check. Not exactly. If I do this, I don't know if I can do this. I think I can. Then that should allow any white space, including, invisible 0 length. So 0 length white space. 0 space is a thing. Can I just copy that somehow? If I do this, yeah, here when I go across, nothing happens. So if I do regexer and I put in a space like this, and I put the 0 with space in here, and I say match that, and I'll say, okay, match 1 or more spaces with a character on either side. It doesn't match the 0 width space. What does in a regex match? Matches a white space, blank tab, and new line. Matches anything that is not match match. Okay. Regex class 40 with white space. There's no such class, just use a character class with code points you will need to match. There's just 4 having 0 width in the name. So if I add this, and I say, instead of that, I'm gonna say \s, boom. Okay, but why does it not match this one now? Do I have to do a /g here? Flags global error. You know the regular expression. Range out of order in character class. What do you mean range out of order? Range? Huh? Range out of order. Range out of order in character class. What am I missing here? B, A, B, C, D. It seems in order for me. 200B to 200D. E. 0D. Can I... What if I just say \s and then the actual Unicode code, which is 200B. I think I have something in my clipboard here. So 200B. Matches a B character, no. Oh, wait. Do I have to do this? Escape character matches a null character. Regex how to match Unicode. Matches one or more Unicode word characters. All right. Is that a flag? Unicode. Yeah, I don't want to match these specific characters. I want to match matches one or more Unicode word characters. \u. So it's not X, it's \u. No, escape sequence. Can I put this still in? Can I put this in a character class? I'm not sure. Dash \u200d. Maybe we don't need that. I get rid of that. It matches that. If I add the \s in, shouldn't be any of those characters. One or more. It only has one match? Is it because... because we don't have more characters in between these? Ah, yeah, okay, it was because of that. So that one kind of made that one not work. That's interesting, alright. Do I want to go this far, though? Because this is basically reverse... what's the word? It's reverse... What's the word? Escape, right? where instead of escaping the fuzzy use or the specific use, you want to escape the regular use to make the special use, i.e., use it as regular text. We want to make that the normal behavior, and then use it as a special meaning. We make it a special behavior, which means you have to sometimes escape and sometimes not, and it's maybe not great. Or in other words, this will work depending on the syntax around it. So sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. So this is probably not the correct way of doing it. I personally like this sort of thing because it works with how my brain works, but I can't rely on other people figuring that out. So it might not be the greatest idea to do it that way, instead of just implementing actual escape sequence for situations where you don't want this kind of behavior. Now, and this we saw this, people were using asterisks with 2 by 3, Now the other way around with spaces on both sides, I think is okay to exclude, because there's no point. You can just move the symbol over, right? There's no point having a space bolded, for example. It might make kind of sense with an underline, I suppose, but having that as a limitation of the format, I don't actually mind it too much. But this kind of, do I break from the standard and do my own thing because it serves how I think? Like, does this make it harder or easier to do the things that people want to do? Like, how important is it to be able to format a part of a word versus being able to include these symbols as part of a word without it being formatted? Because you don't really have a guarantee that it'll be correct yet either. I kind of do like having the white space enforcing, though. It just means that the format basically doesn't support formatting parts of words. Is that a big problem? Like, 99% of use cases aren't like that, but the few times you want to do it, if I want to bold the word pad, and like, easy one is highlighting one letter out of a word as part of a code, or and that's like a standard thing people might want to do. Oof. Any ideas, guys? Any feedback on that? Let's have a look at the rest. So this sort of thing I definitely want to leave untouched, which it does. This should work. I guess we don't have braces included as in our list of symbols here. If I do that, then yeah, so the one should work. Outer, inner. So why does inner here? Why does this not work? This asterisk sequence should work. There's something it doesn't like on the inside. I'm not sure what. So let's get rid of the basic cases again. Give it more breathing space. So it should escape these cases. Oh no, we're not escaping it at all. That's why. So we removed that initial escaping of basically this part here. And when that doesn't happen, then the other formatting can't work when that's on the inside, right? Because now it should find the sequence here. Is it really words? No. We kind of want this here. Yeah, I don't know why I put that there. We can go back to there, and I think I want to sort them in this order for reasons that this can be part of a class and the other symbol cannot. So this should now first pull out this, and it does here. Then eventually it should get to this, which it does here, and eventually it'll get rid of it completely. And now this inner should be manageable, which it does here. And then outer, eventually it should manage this. Yeah, so the problem now is it will never be able to wrap a string that hasn't been processed. So the way my system works, basically, it would expect this to get escaped. So if we have something... so it's not good enough to exclude it from here. We have to deliberately include it here, which is what we did originally with this, right? Where we said, hey, if this is surrounded, then we're also excluding it, right? So in other words, if we have something that's surrounded by whatever this class here is, whatever these things we're here having, we also want it escaped. Right. So that should now escape this string earlier. Then eventually it'll do the inner. And then this double asterisk should match up with string. And it would eventually do that. And then eventually it should also do done, except it doesn't. So something is still not quite right. So the done, so string goes here, out. So inner is this. This is that, and then outer one done goes with that. So somewhere we're losing the outer one done. Yeah, we still have a double asterisk over here. Where did that come from? Wait, what? Inner. Ooh. Wait. Huh? Ah, shoot. Yeah, I think we need to say this only does... You see, this is what I was saying earlier. So we have these groups of paired boundaries, and we kind of have a bunch of them, and we kind of need to have things from the same group. Like we probably want to have the same thing with something like braces on either side, right? And I don't want to fine tune it to perfectly fix my test case, and then it fails on others, right? But now I think... No, it still doesn't do all of it, right? So it should be... Let me refresh here. What's going on? So it's escaping these with a 1 and 2 here. It's escaping this sequence. It's still not doing this correctly. Why is the 1 here not... Oh, because of the singular bracket. So... Am I doing... I'm messing on the wrong thing here again. Don't want the braces here. Right? So yes. So now we're getting the... It's pulling out the 1 with the 2 asterisks on both sides, and then eventually it'll pull out this, which we should see as an emphasis with the 4 in it, right? Because this was the 4, yeah. So, and then by the time it unwinds, we now have the emphasis wrapping from here to here. We have these ignored, we have this ignored, and everything else works. Right. Oh, my head. Yeah, sorry, I didn't expect... Well, I forgot that I left it in a little bit of a mess last time, so there's no way we're going to finish that today, because I don't have as much time. I started so late. What I would like to try to do is pull out our test cases from our database here. And I'm going to see quickly how I'm going to be able to do that, because I'm not entirely certain. So we want to do Sudoku, pad MD, C, bun, check B. So this currently is trying to use the external parser, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just running these tests through, which we don't really care about right now. So that should just work, right? So here we do this exclusion match thing, which we don't care for right now. Let's do this. So I just want to find out any where our parser actually makes a difference. Okay, so we already have 75 cases here. And if we output the rules in those cases, is this useful test material? I guess it is. So the question now is, does it make sense for me to find, 120 sets of rules that have symbols in there that our parser modifies? The other question is, could we just take all the rules that have asterisks or tildes in them? Because maybe it fails, maybe it doesn't parse where it should parse, right? So I guess that might be the way to do it. So instead of doing this for a second, can we do something like better, and then here we'll do MongoDB regex match. Basically, just pull out everything that has one of those two symbols in it. If I do this, and then we'll say something like has an asterisk or a tilde character in there. Can we not check for this twice? No, we cannot. Actually, this becomes superfluous. Unknown operator regex match. What do you mean unknown operator regex match? One second, my nose is being in the butt. Okay, so here it's not regex match. What's the difference between regex and regex match? Like, we are working... Oh, because we're inside a match already. Okay, never mind. Alright, I think I understand. Yeah, we don't really care about pass and fail here. What we do care about is count. Is this gonna be a ton of them? Holy moly. How many could that be? Oh, no, I'm a bit worried. Because yes, it's nice to have test cases, but do I want to deal with hundreds of thousands of them, right? If I say, if I just say this. Oh, it's only 3,693 in total. Wait, does that make sense? Oh, yeah, wait, okay, that's not that many. I mean, it's a few. Our smart home is complaining, I suppose. Can I change these to JSON? Let test cases. So if I say test cases dot push rules. And if I do this, right, it'll be a lot. That's why it's slow now, because even though it's limited to 10,000, it's more than 10,000, right? And then array fsp dot write file. This is where some code auto-completion would be interesting. Test rules.json. I think UTF-8 is presumed. FSP is not defined. All right. Let's grab anything here that uses FSP. Const promises FSP. Bulls. Yes. Does that work? FSP. Oops. Do this. Yes. P equals f dot promises. Undefined is not an object. What are you talking about? Undefined is not an object. Actually, right file. That should work. Okay. Did it work? Okay. Alright, so this has Chinese rules, for example, which is interesting. Why does this look like regular expressions? Red line, regex line. Oh no. Oh no. There's a puzzle called regex line. Oh no. Wait. Can I have title regex line? Is that a thing? Are you kidding me? I swear, some of you guys are just trying to hurt me. Some of you guys just want to see the word, but it's in Chinese as well. And dark. I don't even know. Let me see. If I go to author and just pick somebody, all right, James, and I'll look for N dark. Is that a prolific setter? I love. No, only 2. So we have, nope, we have regex line and regex line. Oh, Jesus Christ. He literally has regular expression syntax in the rules, which makes it, a good test case, I suppose. Also, the rules place also a white dot might have a difference of 1. There are regex lines in the puzzle, each corresponding to a regular expression. The numbers on each line form a string starting from the end with the circle. Each string needs to be perfectly matched by the regular expression of the line. What is the difference between... Which one is the more... This one, huh? So I'm guessing this is the more refined version? Ah. I gotta comment on that on the Discord. Give me a second. Yikes. Let's see if we can find some send some traffic to this puzzle. Holy moly. Oh, jeez. It even has a legend. How nice. Red line is not a 1 through 3, followed by a 4 or 7, followed by a 6 or 9, followed by, or a 4 7, followed by the digits 1 2 3, and then followed by 6 or 9, and then repeat. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. Well, I have some test data now. I don't want to restart you. Updating every time I use you. I'm running out of time, but basically, I'm hoping my regular expression, my new sort of setup, is gonna manage this, but then make these bold. So I'll have to gonna look through these a little bit. And then finally, yeah, like, okay, and then we still have to define how and when we're gonna expect formatting to happen. Yeah. So, we haven't even done this yet. I mean, we have some sample text now, and now I'm kind of... I feel like I'm converging a little bit. What I haven't done yet is I haven't rerun our new third version here against our test data. I think we don't need these. This so far is actually kind of nice because the one thing, I think it excludes puzzles with where there's white space on both, right? Because we're not allowing a symbol that only has this, so we want... I wonder if we're actually better off we're saying, okay, we gotta touch letters on one side and not on the other, basically. But I think we still need to we still need to do this. And we can't... Yeah, this is our white space, this is our thingamajig. We probably can have a category here with a little bit more stuff, like line breaks and stuff. Although, then we're talking about symbols with line breaks on both sides, which doesn't make sense. Yeah. It's not too bad, though. It's getting there. Now I'm looking at this, I can probably replace this with something a little bit shorter, where we're basically saying, because prior I couldn't do this because we had the double tag, but now that I got rid of the double tag, I can probably do this and then move the other stuff into the function, and I can say the substitution is one sec. The substitution is we're grabbing this, the tag, right? So we're just gonna say let t equals. We'll do the tag, and then we'll just return basically t plus t. Sorry, basically, it's starting to look like it's gonna be bigger than just doing this, right? Unless we can do this in a better way. So we have the S, and then we have T again, like that. Just trying to think. This. I mean, it's just defined one time, right? There's no point putting it elsewhere. Zero, 1, 2. No, it's only 0, 1 now. And oops. Can we get rid of the let? Put the T in here. Like, I'm not sure if this is actually shorter. Between the let, the return, and the extra symbols here, we're losing a lot of letters, and here we don't have that many in the first place. I don't know if there's anything I can do to shorten this. I don't think so. If I do this, right, does our test here still work? Let's run all the test cases again. And let's get rid of the spam. Oh, I'm smelling the pasta coming together. Make me more hungry. All right, so that still works, that still works, that still works, and our complex test also still works. So these seem to be a similar way of doing things. Let me turn this into a single line and see how big that actually is. Let's just do this here for a sec. Just gonna manually minify this quickly. Get rid of some of the spaces here. Right, bring it to the front, and then we'll do the same thing here. It's a tiny bit small. It's a little shorter, tiny little shorter. Let's see if our minifier disagrees with my manual minification here. So if I take this, put it in here, nope. I take this, put it in here, minify it, it turns into this. Is this significantly smaller? No, it gets rid of one bracket somehow, and it relabels some of them. Okay. And if we minify this, what do we end up with? Ah, it managed to minify this a little bit more. Okay, just because it skips some spaces and stuff. What else does it skip? Let R. I don't like that it's relabeling them. So if I, instead of M, E and M, I'm gonna make these M and S. E and M. So this should be S, 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 M, and then T becomes S, S, and E becomes M. All right, and then R becomes T. Oops. Right. So these are our original two. These are the new two. And that one is significantly shorter now. Let's see if that still works. All right. Oh, no, it's not working anymore. But I have a feeling I just screwed up here somewhere. Is that all I screwed up? I think so. Okay. I mean, it's another 10 characters, something like that. So that's instead of this. What? Where did it did gain a bunch of characters. If I compare it to this one, it got rid of that rounded brace. Okay, that was just unnecessary. Fine. I mean, yeah. Okay, I see that. Okay, then and then it just messed with my quotation symbols here, which I accept, but I want single quotes, not double quotes. All right, so none of that is actually shortened, and then it just got rid of that, and it got rid of that. That's it, huh? That's it. Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, okay. We can go with that for now. Can I two-line this for readability for now? I mean, I'll run through a minify later anyways. Yeah, so we'll just figure out which of the 4 tags we're creating, and then we're just setting up the tag here. Fair enough. All right, I'm quite happy with this. I'm probably gonna set up a little bit of a harness to quickly run it through the test rules here, and I'll probably just do some spot checks to make sure our latest version does still work at least as well as the previous ones and doesn't break down in some horrific ways. So that'll be... did you just see that line of tills? That'll be an interesting test. Oh, I'll never find that again manually, I think. Yeah, things like this I would just expect to get bolded and so on and so forth. I'll just do a spot check of like a random selection of these. Maybe I'll actually set that up so it'll just give me 10 puzzles to look at. And maybe even with like iframing it or something. Yeah, maybe I'll set a little page with iframes where I'll just throw up the rules text with and without the formatting on either side, and I can just say, yeah, great, or not, you know. And then I think after talking to my Discord a little bit, I think we're gonna have a format flag in the metadata. And then once that format flag comes in, and then, you know, I have to put a page up for this, how this works. And then some implementation details for the tools developers. So Sudoku Maker and anybody who wants can support this kind of thing. Probably Mark TechFence tool. And then we'll take it from there. Hey, I'd like to do a different stream next week if I can get to it. So I'll see if I can work on this week and kind of get it at least onto beta, because there's something on beta right now which I don't want to promote anyway. So we gotta change that. All right, that's it for today. God, it's late and I'm tired and my throat hurts, and it was a rough weekend. Well, thanks for hanging out. And I'll catch you guys on the Discord and in my emails and in the next stream. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye.